Hello everyone, Wealthy Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, September 2, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the day in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really look for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook from the US National Hurricane Center. We can still see that they still have that area across the main development region highlighted, and they're stating that a tropical wave located over the far eastern tropical Atlantic is producing disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity to the south of the Cabo Verde Islands. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some gradual development of this system by the middle part of next week, and a tropical depression is likely to form while it moves westward to west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour over the eastern and central portions of the tropical Atlantic. So right now we see that the chances have increased to about 70%, and it's definitely moving off, or expected to move off to the west and then to the west-northwest, and possibly make it into the Caribbean. This system is definitely worth watching, considering the fact that only a couple days ago it was forecast to move more north, not even possibly even entering the Caribbean, and now there is actually a chance of that happening. So we shall see exactly what unfolds with this system as time goes on. If we take a look at where the Euro model has this system by 18Z on Saturday evening, so that's about 7 p.m. on Saturday. That's what 0Z Sunday stands for. So 7 p.m. on Saturday, this is where the system is expected to be according to the Euromol. Right there, still showing off towards the northeast of the Caribbean, while the GFS is a bit different. The GFS has the system further west around the same time, 18Z or 7 p.m. on Saturday, west of the Leeward Islands, maybe about to affect portions of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Either way, we do see somewhat of a disagreement in the fact that the GFS is a bit more west and faster, the Euro is a bit more north and slower, and we can also see that the Euro is a bit stronger while the GFS right here is a bit weaker with the system. So we shall see exactly what unfolds. As usual, these models are changing as we look at the forecast for them day by day. So it's just a waiting game, and we have to continuously, stay updated and check out what these models are showing every single day up until the point in time that's actually, start to affect someone. Alright, so let's just take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have two tropical waves across the Caribbean at this time. One that's about to affect portions of Jamaica, even although it's quite a dried out tropical wave. And another tropical wave right there across the eastern Caribbean. It was actually this tropical wave that affected portions of the Windward Islands a couple days ago. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that area of low pressure off the coast of Africa that's expected to move westward and possibly develop. And we can also see the clouds associated with that other tropical wave right there off to the south of Puerto Rico. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Saturday. It was stated in yesterday's video that we would have received some amount of afternoon rainfall across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. If you don't know, if you are in a southern parish, we refer to Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew, as well as St. Thomas as the southern parishes. However, although it did have some amount of isolated thunder showers across sections of some southern parishes, it was more confined to the southwest. So sections of maybe western Manchester, sections of St. Elizabeth definitely gotten on that afternoon convection as indicated by those high cold cloud tops, those red shades and the whites that represent some amount of sparkling or lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. definitely got in on some thunderstorms across sections of St. Elizabeth. The only reason why the rest of the southern parishes didn't get in on some of that is because of the daytime heating. The daytime heating was definitely interrupted today. We had lots of clouds, lots of activity across sections of Haiti, and then the upper level wind shear was blowing all of those thunderstorms from Haiti off towards the west southwest across Jamaica. So we saw there were more clouds across, especially high level clouds across sections of the island of Jamaica for today, especially eastern parishes and southern Jamaica. So more in the way of overcast skies. So daytime heating didn't get a chance to take over and then force those cumulus clouds to become cumulonimbus clouds as they usually do. So we did indeed have some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica, but in the afternoon convection was more confined to St. Elizabeth, Western Manchester, due to the fact that we didn't have more in the way of those upper level clouds, bringing more overcast skies to those areas. So we did have that heat across sections of some southern and western parishes right there that brought about that afternoon convection, just as predicted. And we saw that even better on the visible satellite images right here of Jamaica before the sun went down. We had more of that rainfall across sections of maybe even southern Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and western Manchester. And if we take a look at the current infrared satellite images, we can see that majority of that activity is now off to the south and west of Jamaica at this time, and we can also see it represented on the Doppler radar images right here. We know the light green represents some light to moderate rainfall. Alright, so let us take a look at the temperatures right now. We can say we have 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and as usual, as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing some slight yellow colors that represent at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures for tomorrow. We're indeed grateful for that, considering that for the past week we've been receiving up to 3 or even 4 degrees Celsius above average temperatures. So it's quite a welcome change to be getting at least 1 degree Celsius above average for 1 p.m. on Sunday. So it should be a bit cooler than what we've been experiencing all along, but it's still at least a degree above average. And we know the average temperatures for the month of September in Jamaica is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving up to 32 degrees Celsius at most across the island for Sunday. As relates to the dry air map, we can still see that we have some amount of dry air south of Jamaica, across portions of the Eastern Caribbean. Not so much across Jamaica. We see a lot of moist air is indicated by all of those blue colors. As relates to the Saharan dust, the forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday still shows a lot of Saharan dust across the Eastern Caribbean, the Windward and the Leeward Islands, as well as portions of the Central Caribbean, including Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Maybe it's around Monday before some of that Saharan dust makes it to the Jamaica area. Jamaica is right there underneath the word port. Port-au-Prince stands for the capital of Haiti. Alright, so let's just take a look at the waves right now, or the waves for tomorrow. This is 12 o'clock for Sunday, and we do see Jamaica surrounded by the blue shades that represent 1.5 meter wave heights or less. And that's due to the fact that the winds will be coming in from the east or the southeast tomorrow, averaging maybe even up to 10 knots. So it's going to be some weak winds across the area tomorrow. We do see those darker shades of blues across sections of some central and western parishes, especially some northern parishes in Jamaica, and we see that on the GFS model as well. So with the wind shear still coming in from the east northeast, and with those low level clouds going to be pushed towards the northwest, definitely more rainfall in store for sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica. So those low level clouds, those cumulus clouds, are going to be pushed towards the northwest over into some northern parishes. Then that upper level wind shear from the east northeast is going to blow those cloud tops, when they become thunderstorms, off towards the west southwest. So definitely rainfall for sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica tomorrow, with more in the way of overcast skies across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. and we can see the precipitation forecast. This is actually 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which stands for 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And we do see those blue colors across sections of Jamaica, especially northern parishes in Jamaica. So definitely Western Portland, St. Mary, St. Anthony, Lawney, sections of St. James, Hanover, definitely in for some amount of rainfall. And we do see now the consensus, we do see the agreement on the GFS model right there. So those very areas that were just mentioned, especially northern parishes in Jamaica, that's where the rainfall is going to be for Sunday afternoon. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, we can see that yes, we're indeed in for some amount of rainfall across the island for tomorrow. You are showing 0.41 of an inch of rainfall, while the GFS is showing 0.36 of an inch of rainfall. And we're indeed grateful for the rainfall that we're going to be receiving across the island for tomorrow, considering that we're in the month of September, we're in our primary rainy season now, and we should be receiving an increase in the amount of rainfall as we head into the month of October. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that for the most part, majority of northeastern South America is dry at this time, so not much happening across sections of French Guiana, Suriname, or Guyana, not to mention the Eastern Caribbean with that tropical wave to the west of there. Only a few isolated showers passing across the Windward Islands at this time, but we do see the heaviest of the weather right there across sections of western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and sections of Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula, not to mention sections of El Salvador and Guatemala. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can see that we did indeed have some amount of isolated showers passing through. We can see some affecting portions of Guadeloupe, sections of Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla. Saw some coming into sections of southern Puerto Rico as well as northwestern Puerto Rico right there as well. Alright, so let us take a look at the Barbados radar. We do see that we indeed have some amount of isolated showers passing to the south of Barbados right there. Coming into sections of Trinidad, northeastern Trinidad that is, and sections of Tobago. Rainfall coming into sections of the Grenadine Islands and St. Lucia as well. Maybe some passing shower might come into sections of southern Barbados later on tonight. As relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some amount of rainfall right there across sections of southeastern and southern Florida, coming into possibly sections of northern Cuba tonight. We can see that rainfall across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and that rainfall that we already mentioned across sections of the Windward Islands. As it relates to the temperature forecast, we can still see some yellows and some slight orange shades across the Caribbean in general that represent some amount of above normal temperatures across the region, and these maps are valid for 1 p.m. on Sunday. As relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that anywhere from the eastern to the central Caribbean should be having some amount of Saharan dust, some slight hazy weather, maybe some allergic reaction for some people who are affected by the Saharan dust. But it won't be that robust, and the fact that it's moving westward, the more westward it goes, the more it's starting to dissipate. At least we don't have those darkest shades of browns like what we see across sections of Africa. As relates to the wave forecast, we still see much of what we've been receiving for the past week, with the waters to the east of the United States to the northeast of the Bahamas receiving up to 2 meter wave heights or more. Majority of the Caribbean 1.5 meter wave heights or less, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS smalls due to the fact that we're still being affected by Idalia right there, that's churning up the waters, causing 25 knot winds or more, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS smalls. So everywhere else in green should be receiving up to 20 knot winds or less. As it relates to the rainfall forecast, we can see that we still have some amount of rainfall to receive across sections of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola associated with that tropical wave. Not so much across the Leeward Islands, but definitely the Windward Islands, anywhere from St. Vincent southward, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. And we can also see more rainfall for sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan Peninsula, not to mention sections of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, and sections of southern Florida, still to receive some more rainfall. And we do see the consensus on both the Euro and the GFS smalls, I know that when we see consensus like this, when both maps are showing the same thing, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.